Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra on digital address GA0993341. It's broadcasting live on Joy 99.7 FM, also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, proudly Ghanaian. Telesol, just a touch. UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, Digibank, Let's Go. Mark Auto Parts Ghana, distributors of Isuzu and Chevy vehicles. Mark Auto Parts Ghana with you for the long run. Coming up in this edition.
May the angels lead you at your coming. May the martyrs receive you and lead you to the holy city, Jerusalem.
Solemn moments as Ghanaians and dignitaries from around the world pay last respects to former UN Secretary General Busumuru Kofi Annan.
Kofi Annan was the United Nations, and the United Nations was him.
We'll hear from the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, plus all the tributes from family and country to a man who served the world with his life. Also in this edition, Men's Gold customers rise to defense of the company as it shut down amid pressure from the Securities and Exchanges Commission.
You have no authority to do that.
Give me my phone there. My phone is my personal thing. Why must you take my phone?
We want to get the information. We want to get the information. I was talking to her. You told me that if I can't tell you,
customers also of Unibank affiliate Unicredit storm bank's Cantamanto premises a second time, demanding their deposits amid claims the Savings and Loans Company is out of funds.
I'm going to get 2,000. I'm going 3 million, 5 million, 2 million.
And in sports,
now we're waiting for the announcement of members of the FIFA Normalization Committee. A press conference at the Ghana Football Association Secretariat is delayed. We'll be telling you details in 20.
We have all that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Administration by the Accra Church Choir as the world paid its last respects to former UN Secretary General Busumuru Kofi Annan at a packed capacity Accra International Conference Centre. More than 150 dignitaries, including current UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and former First Lady of South Africa, Graça Machel, attended the event, during which touching tributes were read. Mr. Annan's wife, Nan, described her husband as a man who worked to solve global problems.
He challenged them and all of us to work for a better world, right where we are, in our homes, in our villages, and in our cities. All he needed to do was to take one small step and then another. His legacy will live on in his foundation and in all of us. My love, you are now back home where you started your long journey. May you rest in peace. But may your wisdom and compassion continue to inspire us and guide our steps wherever we are. Thank you.
Reading her tribute also, Mr. Annan's daughter, Amma, spoke about her father's words of wisdom to her in times of difficulty.
I remember complaining to him once that I could not afford to buy something. Is someone shooting at you, he asked. I was confused as I didn't understand why he was asking that. Is someone shooting at you, he repeated. No, I said. Do you have a roof over your head? Yes, I said. Do you eat 3 times a day? Yes, I said. Then you have no problems. Stop complaining. My father always sought out and gravitated towards young people, in whom he found inspiration and the renewal of hope. He believed that knowledge was power, information liberating, and education as the premise of progress in every society and every family. He believed that life was for the living and squeezed as much as he could out of every minute of every day while somehow also managing to be in the moment with each person he met. He sought truth and fought for peace in his mild, quiet manner, and with a soft voice and steady temperament, he willed all of us to share in his stubborn optimism. So to paraphrase the words of Winnie the Pooh, how lucky am I to have such a father that makes saying goodbye so hard. Rest in peace, Daddy.
Now, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says the United Nations would continue to miss the great contribution of Kofi Annan to world peace.
But his words were tough and wise, and sometimes the graver the situation, the lower that voice would get. We would lean in to listen, and the world would lean in, and we were rewarded by his wisdom. Kofi Annan was courageous, speaking truth to power, while subjecting himself to intense self-scrutiny. And like his predecessor, Dag Hammarskjöld, he had an almost mystical sense of the rule of the United Nations as a force for good in a world of ills. All of these added up to a remarkable record of achievement. He pioneered new ideas and initiatives, including the Millennium Development Goals and the landmark reforms in his report, Enlarge Freedom. He opened the doors of the United Nations, bringing the organization closer to the world's people and engaging new partners in protecting the environment, defending human rights, and combating HIV/AIDS and other killers' diseases. Kofi Annan was the United Nations, and the United Nations was him.
Now, President Akufo-Addo says the avalanche of tributes is proof of Mr. Annan's contribution to the search for solutions to the world's challenges.
An outstanding Ghanaian and African who served his country, Africa, and humanity with dignity and humility, has left us to join his maker. Ghana, Africa, and the world have suffered greatly from his passing. I am wholly humbled by the opportunity given to me by the grace of God and the generosity of the Ghanaian people to decree as President of the Republic, most fittingly, a state funeral in his honor. He had strong, loving maternal ties to his maternal and paternal origins, and has left behind his constant companion, his beloved devoted wife, Nan Maria, and their cherished children, Amma, Kojo, and Nina. On behalf of the government and people of Ghana, my wife Rebecca, and our children, I extend our profound condolences to his entire family on its irreparable loss and wish him peaceful rest in the bosom of the Almighty. He deserves it. God bless him.
President Akufo-Addo. Let's go to my colleague Maxwell Agbagba. He's been following developments and joins us live with details. Agbagba, we know that the burial service is over. What else is happening on the ground?
Well, Enofa, the funeral, the military funeral, is currently on its way to the Burma Camp Military Cemetery, where the former UN Secretary General will be buried. But earlier, I had interactions with former President John Mahama, who is urging all young Ghanaian politicians to emulate the lifestyle of Kofi Annan. I also had interactions with the former Secretary General, his son, and he said that the world knew his father as the Secretary General of the United Nations, but to him, he was more than everything to him, and he was his father first before the UN Secretary General, and that the whole family is going to miss him. When I had interactions with a minority member, Samuel Okujetua Blakwa, he proposed that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs building should be named after Kofi Annan. So there's still some diplomats, former ambassadors and past ambassadors I'm still here at the Accra International Conference Center waiting for the cortege to return from the Burma Camp Military Cemetery.
That's Maxwell Agbagba there, following that military cortege. Then now joining us has produced a documentary on the life and legacy of Kofi Annan. In the following excerpts, Fifi Kumsin speaks to his friends and former staff of the UN on how he faced off with the United Nations over the invasion of Iraq.
Annan was awarded the Peace Prize for having revitalized the UN and for having given priority to human rights. But Mr. Annan came at a time the United States of America was poised to remove Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein, a man the U.S. considered a brutal dictator hoarding weapons of mass destruction.
My fellow citizens, events in Iraq have now reached the final days of decision. For more than a decade, the United States and other nations have pursued patient and honorable efforts to disarm the Iraqi regime without war.
Annan flew to Baghdad in attempts to find a peaceful resolution.
It's been a long time, and I'm now back in Baghdad on a very important mission. In fact, I describe it as a sacred duty.
But the U.S. would not wait and defied UN caution against waging war on Iraq. Kofi Annan described the war as illegal and would draw criticism from the U.S.
Also on the Iraq front, UN Secretary General Kofi Annan had some stinging words for the United States. In an interview with the BBC, Annan said that the U.S.-led force did not have the legal authority to invade the country.
Very difficult moment for the international civil servant, challenging a superpower, albeit in a diplomatic manner. Those were skills that made Mr. Annan largely successful at the UN, says Ambassador Hayford, a man who worked in his cabinet.
So he tended to choose people who were up to the task, let me put it that way. And it's another thing he achieved. He brought a number of former heads of state to senior positions in his team. And that helped to raise the profile. Mary Robinson, former president of Ireland. He brought several other former heads of state to very high-level positions. And by the way, the current Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, was selected by Kofi Annan, when Kofi Annan was Secretary General, to be High Commissioner for Refugees. And it's a measure of the quality of Kofi Annan's choice that the world has now put him in place as the new Secretary General of the United Nations.
You heard the documentary put together by Fifi Kumsin. Now, away from that, some customers of Men's Gold remain confident in the company's operations, claiming the order by SEC for it to shut down its collectibles business is a deliberate attempt to collapse the gold trading firm. Already, 3 journalists, 2 of whom are from Joy FM, have been manhandled by customers who allege sabotage. Emmanuel Sabote is the latest after Karen was assaulted also yesterday. Ebenezer, tell us, where did you visit and what led to the attack?
So earlier I was at the Jowulu branch of the Men's Gold dealership company, and before I got down from the vehicle, you know, our vehicle was, it's a branded one. So before I got down, I saw the people just coming on me. Then they were one was pointing from behind, Omwani in tree, meaning like, there they are. Then like in the about tens, they just rushed on me. So I was just talking like, why? And then they were like, we know we are recording. We know you people. Then one wanted to hit me. And so before I could see them, the police guys were also following them and coming and was like, why? We didn't ask permission. And I was like, no, we don't have to ask permission. We are just here to observe. And besides, we've not done anything. So what do you want? So quickly, then about 4 of the police guys rushed in, and then they came to pick me from them. They took me into their vehicle. I was in the vehicle in the confrontation with them. And then from the other angle, another guy also was throwing punches at me, but fortunately he couldn't hit me. I have to dodge. So from there, they were just saying that we caused whatever is happening to the company, which I have no idea about it. And then the police also came to us, gave us an escort. So the police escorted us about 200 meters away from the place at which they left us to go. Currently, I'm at the East Legon branch here.
But how are you feeling, I should ask?
Oh, I'm okay. It wasn't that much. I mean, I'm fine.
But in all this, were you able to speak to any of the customers?
Most of the customers who have been speaking with me here wouldn't go on record, but they seem to have some confidence in the company. They claim that because they are not putting their money in the various banks, the commercial banks, that is why the regulator is hard on the men's gold dealership company. And they will not, most of them are bent that they will not put their money in the banks, but rather put their money in the gold dealership. So whatever the regulator does, they don't mind.
Emmanuel Sabute there. Now, my colleague Nancy MFA Dradosi also visited the East Legon branch earlier today and joins us on the line. MFA, what did you find?
So when I got to the East Legon branch, there are about 40 people gathered right in front of the men's gold company. Now, some of them, I had to pause as a customer to be able to get information. Now, most of them told me that they just came to make enquiries because they have confidence in the trading business and they think that he's not doing anything illegal. In fact, one man told me that he actually invested about 800,000 Ghana cedis and he's getting his 80,000 Ghana cedis monthly and he has confidence. He just came to find out whether anything was going wrong, but they have assured him that everything is intact, and so they will come back on the 19th, that's after 6 days, to find out whether finally they have been able to resolve their issue. So they are having confidence in the system, MFA.
But speaking to some of them, were they there to withdraw their monies? What actually were they there to do?
So for those I spoke to, they were not there to withdraw their monies. They just wanted to confirm, to find out what exactly had gone wrong for the reason that the company will say that they are, breaking for 6 days before they'll return. And so they are saying that their monies are in there. They are not coming to withdraw. They just want to make enquiries. And with what they have been told, they are fine.
But we know also that at other branches, customers were beseeching the premises. Were you able to find out what exactly their concerns were elsewhere?
No, so when we got to around the N1 Jolu, we know that that's where Ebenezer Sabute had already visited, and that's where he was being attacked. But then we saw quite a number of police cars parked there with some customers also standing right in front. But most of them that we spoke to are all saying they're denying that they're coming for their monies. In fact, they are saying that it's an attempt by government and the central bank to play down or to bring down the men's good company, and they are not excited about it.
Thank you very much, Nancy MFA Dradosi. She was safe. You heard earlier, Emmanuel Sabute was also assaulted by some workers and customers, we're told, of Men's Gold. But let's speak to lawyer Kwame Akufu. We know that there's a latest statement from Men's Gold, which headlines Gold Vault Market Product Services temporarily halted. It says, following the notice from the Securities and Exchange Commission of Ghana issued on the 7th day of September 2018, the management of Men's Gold Ghana Limited, in its bid to bring some finality to the issues once and for all, has decided to place a temporal halt on all extra value payments and any new business related to our Gold Vault market. And it comes in the wake of a statement also that we got hold of from the Securities and Exchanges Commission. There was a letter also from the lawyers yesterday to that effect. Let's speak to lawyer Kwame Akufu. Thank you very much for your time here on the Midday News. To start with, Mr. Akufu, the license that you were given by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources in 2016, does it permit you to do anything apart from buying gold from small-scale miners and to export same?
The issues that we presently contend with is a letter from the SEC, which is dated the 7th of September 2018, in which they say that we are involved in the issuance of gold-backed depository notes. Those are the things that I think we should be speaking.
We'll come back. We'll get to that. And if you give me straightforward answers, Mr. Kwame Akufu, if you give me straightforward answers, we can cover a number of areas. So I'm starting with this license issue as a basis for our interview. So please give me an answer to that.
No, I'm going to give you answers to everything you ask me. These are legal questions. So let me answer it so it comes back to your point.
So the license you have, it permits you to buy from small-scale miners and export same? First question.
Absolutely. It allows us to do same. Now, when you speak of the licensing regime from the Minerals and Mining under the Minerals and Mining Act, you would realize that the Minerals Commission has not laid complaint at our doorstep. The issues that confront us today as a republic, today as a business entity in the republic, are matters arising from the letter from the Securities and Exchange Commission. That letter says that we are issuing gold-backed depository notes. I found that amazing. I found that very puzzling. Why do I say so? First and foremost, when you speak of a note, you're speaking of a tradable instrument. it is remarkably painful or painfully unfortunate to have anybody say that Men's Gold is issuing tradable instruments. When you deposit the gold for it to be sold on your behalf, yes, there's a contract between you and Men's Gold. But that contract, even if it can be assignable, the rights on it can be assignable, is not a tradable instrument. So when you hear SEC make those allegations, they're completely jejune, they're bogus allegations. That cannot be a tradable instrument. They speak of us having violated Section 109 of the SEC Act, the Securities Industries Act. When you go to Section 109, there is reference to several categories of businesses or activity that you must seek a license. None of them speak of the issuance of a gold-backed depository note. Secondly, it's quite clear. The conversation we've had in this republic for many days, many months, and as the years have progressed, has been the fact that the Bank of Ghana had raised issue that we're into deposit taking. That allegation was rebutted, was fought. It was assiduously fought. Suddenly, we have the Securities and Exchange Commission come in and say we are doing trading by virtue of being under their remit. Those allegations are not supported. I would be very happy to hear from the Securities and Exchange Commission as to which tradable instruments that we are issuing. We believe that they are in regulatory overreach. We believe that they've gone beyond the remedies like the PMMC.
And that is captured in your letter that you wrote yesterday. Portions of it I will read. It said that, be as it may, we are instructed to respectfully inform you that our client's business module, which is essentially that of sale of gold collectibles, is not one that falls within your regulatory regime. Please be informed that our client is not issuing any tradable note, as you erroneously state in your letter of 7 September 2018. My question then is your business regulated? Under which regulation does it come?
MFA, if you look at the Bank of Ghana, the Banking and Specialized Deposit Taking Act, and you look at the Securities and Exchange, the Securities Industries Act, there is a provision which says that the regulators are entitled to prescribe regulation for any other business model that arises or as they find fit. So when there is legislative omission, you don't come and blame Men's Gold.
So your business is not regulated?
Our business is not regulated by the law. And we are not regulated by the Securities Exchange Commission. We are not regulated by the Bank of Ghana. It is a formidable, innovative product that has been put out there. We have never shied away from asking the Republic through its regulators to set up legislative instruments which can regulate that.
So we have a business operating with no regulation whatsoever. Is that even possible?
Well, you should be asking the Bank of Ghana. You should be asking the Securities and Exchange Commission.
So Men's Gold is just taking advantage of the loopholes in the system. Is that what it is?
Advantage. This is a market economy. People are entitled to use their ingenuity, their intelligence to come up with innovative products. But we don't cripple in ingenuity.
But the Bank of Ghana has all along, Mr. Akufu, but the Bank of Ghana has all along stated that you are engaged in deposit taking, and that is wrong.
Has the Bank of Ghana sanctioned us? Has the Bank of Ghana ever said that there are sanctions against that for deposit taking? Under the Bank of Ghana law, deposit taking is receiving money. We don't receive money. So the factual predicate of the Bank of Ghana is completely wrong. We have said so on many occasions, we'll continue to say so. If the Bank of Ghana was proper, was correct, was accurate, we wouldn't have the Securities Exchange Commission doing this. If you have regard to history of the Republic, you will have seen that the Bank of Ghana's arguments in the past is not what we are acting on now. We should have put you on notice that somehow or rather the regulators, faced with their own legislative omissions, are stretching language, trying to get some implied power to be able to deal with an innovative product. This is an innovative product in your face.
So finally, Mr. Akufu, from the statement, the latest statement from your company, Gold Vault Market Product Services, temporarily halted. What then happens to customers?
What happens to customers in the face of this is that we have decided that we're going to have a meeting with the regulator next week. We said yesterday in our letter that we are asking them to show us which part of the law we fit into. We don't have a problem with being regulated. The law allows them to pass. Let me say this to you. If you look at Section 109, the framers of the law knew that innovative products will come onto the market which will not have regulation. And that is why it gives them the power to regulate it. But it does not give them the power to stretch existing legislation to cover things which have not yet been regulated. The law itself, if you look at Section 109, you look at Section 4 and Section 6 of the Bank's Specialized Deposit Act 930, it makes room for things which will come up, which are not yet regulated. So say to Bank of Ghana and the Securities Exchange Commission to do their work. Don't blame young men who are trying to use their ingenuity and intelligence to set up economic ventures. You don't do that. Until the internet came, there was no law of regulating the internet. But when it came, people put together the regulations for the internet.
Okay, Mr. Kufu, we'll leave it here. We're grateful for your time. Lawyer Kwame Kufu, the lawyer for Men's Gold Company Limited. It's still the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. Still to come, customers of Unibank affiliate UniCredit storm bank's Cantamanto premises a second time, demanding their deposits amid claims the savings and loans company is out of funds.
I'm going to get 2,000. I'm 3 million, 5 million, 2 million.
We're right back after the break.
That is the sweet sound of excellence. That is the sound from Mack. Yes, Mack Ghana is the #1 distributor of the world's best quality Isuzu and Chevrolet vehicles in Ghana. Isuzu trucks from 1.5 tons to heavy-duty vehicles. Isuzu buses from 15 to 33 seaters, double and single cabin pickup, available in automatic and manual transmissions. We also stock a wide range of Chevy cars, from SUVs, sedans, and small cars, fully loaded with exquisite specifications. All our range of vehicles stand out due to its high fuel efficiency, safety, luxury, spacious interior, world-class delivery, and after-sales servicing. What's more, we offer flexible payment terms to meet your pockets. Mack Ghana is a sole distributor for Isuzu trucks and pickups, as well as all range of Chevrolet cars in Ghana. Call us on 0302-813-919 in Accra or 0242-039-550 in Kumasi. Visit our website MackGhana.com. Mack Ghana, with you for the long run.
You're welcome back from the break. Time now for sports. Ridwan.
I'm all smiles. You know, we have to quickly tell you about a story that's been cooking for some time now. It's about the normalization committee for the Ghana Football Association, now FIFASM team. They've been in town and conducted interviews. We understand that the identity of or the identities of those selected will be unveiled today, or will be made today, known today at the Ghana FA Secretariat. But then there is a bit of a delay. And Benedict also is at the GFA Secretariat. He joins me on the phone now. Benedict, what has caused this delay?
Well, with one, we've been here for the past 2 hours. Initially it was supposed to start at 10. But as we speak, it's almost 12:30. And the delay, the members that will be named on the normalization committee didn't come in here early. Around 10:30, they started coming in here. And then when they came, the media were actually not even allowed to enter the Ghana Football Association premises because the facility has been closed down for close to 3 months. And then the place was very dirty.
So there's a delay. That's all I can tell you. But the details will be coming your way on our pages on social media and also on our website as well.
We'll be watching out for that, Ridwan. Now, dozens of customers of Unibank affiliate company UniCredit have thronged its Cantamanto market branch to demand their deposits. This is coming amid claims that the company has run out of funds. Some of the customers spoke to Joy News.
I save at UniCredit for 2 months now. I have been trying to retrieve some of my monies, and they always give me excuses. I urgently need 2,000 cedis of my money to conduct some business. But they say there's no money, so they give it to me in bits. The other time, they gave me 300. Another time, too, they gave me 500. But I need a bulk sum. That's why I have come here to join the long queue to retrieve my money. I sell eggs. I have about 900 cedis saved here at UniCredit, and I want to take it all.
Some customers there of UniCredit will bring you more in our subsequent bulletins. Before we go, what's trending on social media, Maps?
All right, Kofi Annan is trending, and at Dinero, my boy, says Kofi Annan represented the very finest in diplomacy. He was an embodiment of peace and humility. And at FER 130 says simplicity was his middle name. Kofi Annan, rest in peace. And I'm going to leave you with this tweet from at Sir_Andrew GH quoting Kofi Annan, and it reads, "Always remember, you are never too young to lead, and you're never too old to learn." So, MFR, always remember, you're never too young to lead, and you're never too old to learn.
Interesting. We always learn. And that's it from the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Emefa Apau. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a good afternoon.
Charlie, guys, the kind I first play.
Oh, I know that one. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, God.
You shout. If it I promise one. You recite on me.
1, 2. I promise on this iFest to be faithful and loyal to all video platforms. I pledge myself to learn, work, and play. I promise to be on the brighter side of life because watching videos with MTN 4G.